Hey, good morning, friends. Mark Holmes here with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo, and as always, thank you guys for watching, commenting, and subscribing to the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, this literally does not work. Let's get open for business, and let's wake up the football G's this morning. How's everybody doing on this weekend without football? I know it sucks, but after we get through this weekend, we're down to 12 Sundays left without football. It's getting closer. We are under the 90-day mark. 89 days, 12 hours, 3 minutes, and 10 seconds away from kickoff of the 2019 season. I'm excited as can be. Great fun last night on our live stream. We had Philly 500 who came in the house and stuff, talking a little smack and things. And I've got all of these Eagle fans that are like cockroaches that are coming around. People are coming around and saying, your name is coming out of all these Eagles' mouths, that they are just literally just running around trying to come after me. I'm over here just trying to stay in my lane, deal with my Dallas Cowboys and stuff. I'm not trying to mess with nobody. But if you're going to bring the fight to me, I'm going to bring the fight right back to you. Now, let's do one thing for me. We can disagree about things without going into name calling, okay? If you want to talk about my Cowboys and say, they haven't won a Super Bowl in 25 years, okay, I get that. Or Dak didn't do this, or the Cowboys didn't do that. I'm cool. But I don't want this to become a I hate you because we disagree. It shouldn't be going into name calling. You're fat, you're ugly, you're an N-word. That's just not acceptable. So let's keep it civil, okay? Let's have debates. Now, Carson Wentz got his contract, $106 million guaranteed. Wow. And, the narrative on Carson Wentz is the guy. Now, I'm going to stir some stuff up here a little bit. I'm definitely going to create a little bit of a buzz, and I'm going to be leaving after I do this because tomorrow I'll be doing volunteer work and stuff out the country. It's going to be funny when people watch this video. But here's the thing I'm going to go ahead and talk about, because we're told that Dak Prescott, he has to have people around him to be successful. Dak Prescott needs to take a home team discount because, they got to put people around him. Dak Prescott, he's not on the same level as Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz, Dak Prescott couldn't carry his jockstrap. Carson Wentz is on a whole nother level. He's great. Should have been MVP had he stayed healthy in 2017. Carson Wentz has done so much more than Dak Prescott. But I'm going to kind of say pump the brakes a little bit here. Is Carson Wentz that great on his natural ability, or could it be the system and the people around him? Because here's what's interesting. I'm going to just bear with me, okay? Because I know I play with numbers. I always try and back up what I say with numbers and statistics, okay? Let's take a look at Carson Wentz's statistics here, okay? You go through 10,152 yards. It's great. It's great. In his 3 years. You're talking about 3,782 yards, 3,296 yards, 3,074 yards, knowing that he missed games in there. And that sounds really, really good. Completion percentage, 63.7. Touchdowns, 70 touchdowns. You can't argue with those numbers. Those are really great numbers. But here's where it's interesting when we look at the seasons. Look at the records. First year, 7-9. Now, Philly 500 last night said, oh, well, you got to throw out the rookie season. Why do you have to throw out the rookie season? Dak Prescott was a rookie as well, fourth-round draft pick, who did not go into the offseason thinking he was going to be the starting quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys. When they traded 4 picks to get Carson Wentz, you knew that was going to be the starting quarterback. They bred him, trained him as a starter. So how come you're saying throw out that season? That season counts. Those 16 TDs and 14 interceptions counts. It's part of the agenda. And that 7-9 record counts. And I know what people will say, well, he didn't have the offensive line wasn't that good that year. The running game wasn't that good that year, so don't count that. But isn't that part of the equation? Because if you're an elite quarterback, Aren't you supposed to elevate your team? Isn't that what we're always told? That a great quarterback can put the team on their back and win regardless. Isn't that what they always say? So 7-9. Okay, all right. We'll say that's rookie season. The next year, 11-2 until he was rolling. He had the team rolling going into playoffs and put it on cruise control. Here's an interesting thing in 2017. We look at our numbers here. We ran the ball second best in the NFL, 4.5 yards a carry, 135.6 yards. Look who was number 3 that Super Bowl year for them. Exact same as the Dallas Cowboys, 4 yards a carry, 132.2 yards. So he had a running game around him, right? And you look at the wide receiver core that they had some really good wide receivers, and they had a great tight end, one of the best, Zach Ertz, in the NFL. So isn't that people kind of around him? And you could look at 2017, and the Philadelphia Eagles offensive line was tough. They were one of the best, if not the best, offensive line in football. So this whole misnomer that Dak has to have people around him, I dare say that the Eagles had people around them in 2017, right? They made a difference. Great at running the football makes it easier to pass the ball. You got a great offensive line that are keeping people off the quarterback's back. It's easier to pass the ball if you've got 4, 5, 6 seconds to find somebody. I'm not saying that he's not great. He is a great quarterback. But is he as great as everybody makes him out to be? Because here's another interesting thing as we go back to Carson Wentz's stats. 3,074 yards in 11 games. Okay, that's good. 20 touchdown passes. That's good. But here's what's not so good. Yeah. It's not working. Okay. I can never seem to get this thing working. Here's the interesting one for me right here. Bam. 5-6. So wait a minute. Carson Wentz, on the 11 games that he played, they lost 6 of them. Carson Wentz has had a losing record 2 of his 3 years in football. He's only had 1 year that was really out there. And I know you're going to say, well, they had injuries and they had this and wait. If he had not gotten injured and continued on the same trajectory, you probably wouldn't have been in the playoffs last year. Because let's take a look at Nick Foles. I'm going to get hate, and I'm okay with that. Nick Foles, who everywhere except being in Philadelphia in part-time duty, has been basically a journeyman quarterback, okay? I mean, we're talking about 60, 64, 59, 56, 65 completion percentage in his career. And most years, 1,600, 28, 21, 2,000, 410, 537. It's a journeyman quarterback. He's not, at least we're told, he's not on the level of Carson Wentz. Right? But here's what's interesting as we go down here. Let me blow this up. And let's see if I can get the pen to work again. Come on. It's not going to work for me. The button on here does not work. But here's what's interesting. Right here. Nick Foles, same team, was 4-1. They end up 9-7. Nick Foles, in 5 games, won 4 of them. His completion percentage, 72.3. And in those 5 games, had 1,413 yards. So if we do the math, and I know some of you have a problem doing math, here's the comparison between the two. Nick Foles, 282 yards, 0.6 per game. Carson Wentz, 279.45. Completion percentage, Nick Foles, 72.3. Carson Wentz, 69.6. Now, the only place that you could look at and say, well, Carson Wentz was better was touchdowns. He did have 21 to Carson Wentz's 7. So that's 3.6 percentage for Nick, 5.2. So I'll give you that one. Interceptions-wise, they're about even. Nick Foles had 4, Carson Wentz had 7. So in looking at those numbers, and I'm not saying that Nick Foles is as good as Carson Wentz, but this is where you have to wonder, is it the system? Because there's a place further north, New England, that you could look at. Drew Bledsoe was really doing well with that system, and immediately they plugged in a Tom Brady. And every time Tom Brady has missed time, here's an interesting statistic for you. Every time Bill Belichick has had a new quarterback start their first game, they always win. Because you can look at Jimmy Garoppolo, first starts for New England in place of Tom Brady. Cold, wins a couple of games. Jacoby Brissett, his first game with New England, he wins. Matt frickin' Castle. So you look at that and say, Tom Brady's a great quarterback, but also they have a great system that caters to what they have and wins. Because you look at the quarterbacks after they leave New England, they're not so successful. And that may be the case with the Eagles, that they can plug people in because Doug Peterson is a great coach, that he can get the most out of them and still win. Because clearly, the Eagles were better with Nick Foles than they were with Carson Wentz. So this whole idea that Dak Prescott is garbage, because I know we were garbage the first half of the season. I get that. But Dak Prescott, we ended up being 10-6 versus Carson Wentz being 5-6. Dak had 5 more games than Carson Wentz did last year before Amari Cooper, and only had the same amount of losses. I will take your hate mail now. I'm Mark Holmes, and well, I got to go get to my day job. I'll see you guys soon.